Hello, dear community. Welcome to the channel. I'm Bree. Could I please ask your assistance that if you are a viewer and you haven't subscribed, doing so would really support the channel to continue and grow. Thank you. So what I thought I would share today with you is about moving objects with the mind. In the Qigong that I practice, zhineng Qigong, it's part of our practice. It is a path of self-mastery. And in self-mastery, you need to be able to heal your own body, heal your mind, heal others, heal the world. Not that you need to, but an understanding of healing and enlightening as hand in hand, and how the internal and the external is hand in hand. And that brings me to the unseen hand in moving objects. I mean, not really. It could just, you can think of it like that. I don't quite think of it like that, but why not? You can definitely bring the imagination into a hand moving. Actually, sometimes I do. I guess sometimes I do. I wouldn't in the moment call it a hand, but for needing to use language, you could certainly use the metaphor of a hand. What I wanted to share, because I think it would be inspiring for people practicing, is the very first few times that the object moved by me without touching it. You staring at an object for a long time that's not moving, and then what is it that changes? What is it that happens in that moment when it moves? And even this is quite, when I say in that moment, I mean, what moment? Because if you understand energy and things like that, it's not necessarily in the moment. It can send information, but it might not be received in the same moment. For those of you practicing, probably know what I mean. We might send in information in our experiments, but it's not till the next day that it takes effect. But going back to the first moment, I remember the first moment clearly. Actually, it was my birthday. It was some years ago. I had practiced for a very long time without success, willing for this Psy wheel. Psy wheel is a piece of paper or foil suspended on a point, and then you cover it so that it's not your breathing or the air. You contain it and you make sure you can't make it move any other way, and you connect with it, and whatever your process is, it responds and turns. And the idea is, once it responds and turns, is that you have some mastery over it. You ask it to go that way, or however you operate. When I say ask, it could be, for example, I bring sensation to my right hand. I don't say go this way. It's like my mind goes into my right hand, and it's my communication kind of thing. So many, and I don't always do that. There's so many different things. We've got to go into the non-verbal realm. We've got to go into the realm of consciousness to operate here. That's why these experiments are really expanding, really help you expand, because you're leaving the social realm, you're leaving the verbal realm, you're coming into a deeper, truer place, and it's a beautiful place. It's just nice to have a practice, to ground yourself, to remember the non-verbal realm, the non-duality realm. Even to talk about it is going to get confusing. So I will come back again, sorry. The first moment that I had success, it was my birthday. And I had this thought, going to happen. It's my birthday present to myself. And I sat down, you know, prepared myself, relaxed, everything. I was a little bit extra happy. It's my birthday, you know. I don't know why. Happy, but anyway. And I was in a good state. I was looking at it. And I recall the moment that I was looking at it, and then it was switch. I was looking at myself looking at it. And in that moment, the wheel turned. And that was the very first movement I got with telekinesis, with my zhineng paranormal experiments, was on my birthday, doing what I normally do, but I think it happened spontaneously, that switch, I'm watching myself watching it. It turned. After that, I didn't get, you know, I was so excited about it. And I think I forgot, I didn't practice for a while. And then when I practiced again, I kept trying to recreate that, okay, I'm looking at it. Now I'm watching myself look, you know, and I was trying to recreate it. It didn't happen. I can remember the next significant experience was, I think I was just, you know, because it's experimenting. You can't really say this is how you do it. I mean, you can give tips, you can give inspirational ideas, and you can try, and it might work sometimes, but other times it might not work. There's so many facets that we're not even aware of that play a role in this. Anyway, so another significant time, I caught at the moment that it moved, I caught, now it's hard to call it a thought. I'm going to call it a thought, but maybe you can work out what to call it. I'm with the object. And it was like, I'll try to explain the thought process. It was like this. I'm here. I'm really here. And when I'm saying I'm here, I wasn't talking about my body. I'm talking about my awareness, as awareness. I'm here. It was like I was saying, I wasn't talking to this because I didn't feel separate from it, but it was like maybe an inspiration or something. But it was like I didn't feel the body. I feel I'm right with this wheel, or in the space surrounding the wheel. And the feeling or the thought or the knowing was, hey, I am here. You can't not move. How can you can't not move. You can't not move because I'm here. And it had nothing to do with body. It was like I was the space surrounding the object, going like, I'm here. You know, when the wind blows, you can't not move. So I'm here. When I'm here, you can't not move. And it moved. You know, it was like it kind of snapped me, like, oh. And then of course I try to recreate. And trying to recreate that, I didn't get a movement in trying to recreate that. Another significant moment, and I would say this significant moment, probably when I try to recreate it, I actually do have success, is when I wasn't getting any movement for a long time, I started to use my hands again. So I would put my hands on, and as soon as I would put my hands on, it would start moving. And then I started getting suspicious, you know, I started doubting, but I covered everything, you know, I checked. And it was the telekinesis effect. It wasn't some type of not paranormal reason why it was moving. So it was like, okay, what is my thought process? What is my mental reference framework saying? And I really searched and I saw, yeah, I feel that if I put my hands there and I hold it, I have more control. I can actually feel the energy of my hands more intensely, because as they touch the glass, as the glass and the hand make contact, I can feel the vibration of my hands very loudly. And I feel myself as energy more intensely. And then I'm projecting that instantaneously around the wheel, and it starts turning. You know, some type of symbolism, some type of process going on more tangibly, as opposed to just sitting here and looking at it. So, you know, I wanted to be able to, you know, always just look at it without starting with my hands. But, you know, I said, okay, well, I'm not just going to be looking at it for a long time. Nothing happens. Let's get it going. I know that it will move quite quickly with my hands. And so then I was studying slowing, you slow right down, and you've got to check out your thought process. Your feeling, I don't know, it's kind of not thought, but I have no other words to use. So you slow right down and see what's going on in your mental reference framework, the movements of consciousness. And what I saw sharply in front of me was this sense of expectation. I expected, hands there, it will turn. I went, oh, I totally expected that. Same as if, you know, I want to scratch the side of my, like it's tickly, itchy type thing, a movement there, and I want to just go like that. I have no doubt my hand's going to go up and do that. No doubt. Of course it is. I could do that. And it was that. I had no doubt my hands are going to go there. The wheel's going to start turning. And I caught that. Oh, I know that wheel's going to turn if I put my hands there. There's like a confidence due to past experience, because I practiced enough so that just putting my hands on there got it going pretty much straight away. It was like connection, you know. So then I applied on command that feeling inside myself. So with no hands, I don't know why I'm going to stop practicing here. I'm trying to make a video. With no hands, conjure up that feeling of just, instead of hands are here and I expect it, make the contact and I expect it. And it worked. It did work. So then I have all these little tools, you know, I'm here looking at myself doing it. I'm expecting, you know, all of these things that build up our experience, our confidence, and a bit of understanding. But now I'm going to shatter everything, because as soon as you think, oh yeah, I know how it works, all I have to do is relax the body, step 1, step 2, and it'll work for me, and you have success for a long time. And then all of a sudden doesn't work for you. And then you've got to look, why isn't it working for me? And then you really look into, is there something something hanging around in the emotions, in the psyche? Is there something unresolved somewhere? Am I a bit dull? I'm not joyful enough. Yeah, and then you examine more and more. That's why I think this is such a great tool for self-mastery. And it's important that when we do get success in a certain way for ourselves, we don't say this is how you do it. I mean, this is how it worked for me in this occasion, but for someone else, they could do almost the opposite. And I'm going to make a video about that because that's fascinating. The things that you think will never work. That's another video. What I did want to say, and it's probably another video, but I'll just lightly point out here, is the interesting thing is you're applying the information, for example, applying the information for it to move, for it to turn. And you've done with your practice. Maybe you allocated 15 minutes. I'm going to sit with this for 15 minutes. Maybe your timer goes off or you check the time, 15 minutes is up. Well, I've just sat here for 15 minutes connecting and intending for movement, but nothing's happened. Now, you leave it like this, you've covered it, there's no one else in the house, you don't open a window, you leave it there, you go away, you do something, and maybe in a few hours' time or even in 10 minutes' time, you come past and it's moved, it's in a different position. So when I finish my practice session, I'll grab something, anything, and I'll put it in a location. For example, the wheel, when you look at it front on, is shaped like an arch. I'll place the object in the center of the arch. So when I walk away and I come back, I can see if it's moved because I applied the information of movement. And maybe it these things, you know, you might send healing to somebody and perhaps it's not received straight away in the same time that you've sent it, and later it happens. Fascinating, fascinating world to explore. All the best with your experiments, with your practice. Success to you. Haula.